So, during rehearsal for Status Quo, you know the part that Demi stands up on the table?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, now where I'm positioned, I sit like this, like with my back to the audience. So, I'm looking up. So, whenever he does his thing, I always do this the whole time. And he actually does a pretty good job of not like... Oh my god. Sorry, that was my dog, folks. But he actually does a pretty good job of...
This is an audio podcast, Dane. No one's going to see the face you just made. Other than me. You wanted this to be the cold open. Oh my god. Welcome back, Peepers. We're here live in person. Well, not live, but we are in person.
Finally.
Me and Dane are here in Dane's kitchen right now, and we are going to be hitting you guys with another 3-course.
That's right.
Today, what do we got?
Today, we are going to look at 3 more internet mediums. Sound, photo, and video. Our sound for today is the infamous Trumpets in the sky. It's a weird phenomena that is pretty much all over the world, and it's the sensation. Well, not sensation, but actually, it's just the sound that people hear, and it's this loud kind of sound. It's just this really loud, like. People described it as metal scraping, but most people describe it as just a very loud trumpet. And it also kind of has a resemblance to the sound the aliens make in War of the Worlds. And it's just this very loud blaring trumpet sound, and it goes across the whole sky. And, I mentioned this in the last 3-course, but scientists' explanations when it comes to these sounds, they're atrocious. Scientists this time have said that the cause for this noise are meteors entering the atmosphere, causing sonic booms. Now, I don't know about you, but and I'm not a scientist, so don't, harp on me about this, but when I envision a sonic boom, I don't envision the sound that we're going to play for you right now. I don't think that sounds like meteors entering the atmosphere. Or another explanation, or other explanations, earthquakes, tidal waves, or methane explosions. Tidal waves? Are you kidding me? Methane explosions? Also, are you kidding me? Earthquakes, seem just a little bit more plausible. Because it sounds like metal.
Yeah, I will say I actually also thought it sounded a lot more like metal. It sounds, to be honest, I think it either sounds like metal or possibly, I don't know, maybe like when they demolish buildings.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's probably more.
I'll give them a little bit with earthquakes, but
yeah, I was gonna say because earthquakes, I could see a lot of carnage going on there.
Right. But no, tidal waves and methane. No, come on.
Yeah, I know what water sounds like, and I know what an explosion sounds like. That is not what an explosion or water sounds like.
Exactly. There were also, and here's the part that creeps me out. There's also religious connotations to this sound, as in, I think Christianity, or maybe not, but in other religions, the trumpets in the sky signal the oh yeah, Christianity, of course. Trumpets in the sky, it says that it signifies the returning of, or the second coming of Christ. And, these trumpets have been going on for many years. I think this whole thing kind of started in, like, the mid-2010s, maybe early 2010s. Haven't seen Jesus yet, so who knows? Maybe great COVID was. I don't know. But, Yeah, the trumpets in the sky. It's hard to figure out, but I do not listen to scientists unless it's for medical reasons, because they'll say anything. Is what I've learned. Big bloop in the water. Oh, that's just ice scraping against the bottom of the floor. What?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, even that. Here's the thing, though. The only difference with the bloop was that, I mean, that it seemed very obvious that sounds a lot more like a bubble.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I think they really missed the mark on that one by not just saying it was a bubble, because it sounds a lot like a bubble. And to be honest, what I personally believe, I think it's just a bubble.
Yeah.
Because it didn't even sound like a
Didn't sound anything big.
yeah.
Yeah. Or though, makes me wonder, because the sound sounds like a bubble, but what the scientists said was possibly ice in the ocean or something. That tells me that may have came from somewhere secret that they don't want to talk about.
It could be.
Could be. But I think, and this is just like a open case. I mean, there's nowhere really else left to go with Trumpets in the Sky, because there's no set answer to it, and I haven't heard it in person yet, but something tells me, based off of the more recent coverage that we just looked over, that some of you out there may have heard it. Possibly. I haven't. But if you have, let us know somewhere. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a sweet little comment down there. And moving on.
What do we got next?
We're going to talk about a classic, and this has a creepypasta with it. But here's the thing. This particular creepypasta is nowadays well known for not having a very strong story. We are going to talk about Jeff the Killer. And now you may be, oh, Jeff the Killer, why'd you be there? Shh, settle down. I want to tackle a more different aspect of Jeff the Killer, and that the photo itself. Because when you think of Jeff the Killer, you don't think of the story. Not necessarily. You think of the picture. And the trouble with it is, no one seems to know its origin. And that adds its own sort of creep factor to me. Or, well, in my brain. This photo was obviously edited of someone else. And there's two versions. There's a more oranger version with more bigger teeth. And then there's a other version which has a bit of more of a smaller, more realistic smile and a big wider face. But it's the same. You can tell it's the same head. It's the same photo. The only question is, where did this photo come from? And once again, no one has answers to this still. It's pretty crazy. What do you think?
Well, I think that, honestly, scientists have said that it's actually probably a cereal bowl with a face drawn on it. No, I'm only joking, of course. I actually saw, because I actually did see this recently, unrelated to our episode. I just happened to see this pop up on my social media.
Yeah.
They're saying now it was this picture that was this one lady posted to like an image board. It's the smile is different, and like the mouth is different, and I believe the eyes are too. But it's basically just this one lady, just like from like a diagonal, like leaning into a photo from like a diagonal angle, and just kind of like sort of just doing a generic like smiling face, but it was just heavily edited. But yeah, that's what I've seen about it. That the eyes and the mouth are edited over, but everything else is pretty much there. Obviously, the photo itself, referring more to the fact that it's so bright. Obviously, that part's been edited very heavily as well. Even the background, you can't really make it out. It's very. It almost looks like they threw a negative filter on the camera when they took it.
Yeah.
Which they didn't. That's been. I mean, they could have, but I feel like that's probably not likely. It's more likely that it's been edited after the fact. But yeah, that's basically what I've heard about it.
Wow. And Yeah, like you said, the background is, you can barely make it out, and that's kind of the part that kind of freaks me out a bit, is that you just can't tell where this photo is at all. I mean, my brain always thinks it's like inside a closet somewhere, which, if you know the story, the creepypasta kind of ties in to the creepypasta, and it's probably where inspiration for the story came from. But other than that, this photo, I think goes back to has been traced back to 2005 or something, or possibly even before, in terms of its first appearance on the World Wide Web. And it's appeared on, it looks like it's appeared on a Japanese forum, which makes sense. And you can definitely see Japanese influence in terms of what they consider scary and how this is scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, maybe it's just someone edited back then. But I want to give a shout out to a channel that I really love called Vibing Leaf. And Vibing Leaf is working wonders in terms of the creepypasta world. On YouTube, he posts remakes of creepypasta videos. And he recently sort of reimagined Jeff the Killer. He took away the whole angsty teen boy sort of heartthrob sort of side to him, and he made him much more older and creepier, and he made him more like a bit like a boogeyman, like a classic boogeyman, and his features are so much more exaggerated the little bit that you see of him. But oh yeah, the video is called Jeff the Killer Repaired. I highly recommend the Vibing Leaf channel, because they're going on strong right now. And they, including the Jeff the Killer one, they have a Red Mist one. They have the Mickey Mouse one. The Lies, the Nickelodeon Lies with the fish. That's a more recent one. But it's a great channel. And they've really got some spooky stuff on there. So if you want to curl up in bed and grab a few snacks and just, go on a deep dive, Vibing Leaf. Definitely check that channel out.
Or if you want a nice lighter side of the internet, hop on over to the Just a Guy Network.
Oh
We
yeah.
got all our skits, video versions of the Creepy Peepers podcast, where you can see all the horrifying thumbnails I'm going to have to edit and then never watch this episode on my video version.
Yes, that's right. We also have a new Creepy Peepers podcast Instagram.
That's true.
So
you want to tell them the username?
Oh yeah, it's Creepy Peepers podcast, and all lowercase, and the name itself is Creepy Peepers Official. And just went up, and if you want to give that a follow, you can. And if you also want to cringe until you throw up, go to the Dano Danger channel.
Yeah.
Or the Mr. Deneg Instagram.
Yeah. Both of all those will be plugged, of course, in the video version as well, in the end screen.
That's right.
Yeah. I always be sure to shout out everything related to Creepy Peepers at the end of those podcasts as well.
Yes.
I don't know why we're plugging it all now. It sounds like we're about to end the episode.
No.
Yeah, we're continuing.
We are continuing. We have one more creepy medium to talk about. And we have our video for today. And this is a classic. If you go on the YouTube Strange Side of YouTube playlist, this is one of the first videos that are up there. This is a classic. And it involves Tara, the singing robot, or as it says, listed as the artist, Tara the android. Released in 2009, it is "I Feel Fantastic," the video of the singing robot inside a house.
And Dane, when he first mentioned this to me, I actually hadn't seen this video before. I had seen of it, but I hadn't seen it directly. And I got to be honest, this is actually going to be one of my favorite ones to talk about this episode, because I actually watched this and I did feel fantastic.
Really?
I actually really liked this one, and not even in like a scary way. I just genuinely found it like kind of cool, and every once in a while, I will like find myself humming. I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we'll play it for you right now. Well, or at least the audio from it. Because to be fair, whether you're listening to this on the video podcast or on the audio podcast, the audio is the main part of it.
Right.
But of course, still check out the video podcast because the video does help with it. But for the sake of the audio listeners, we're gonna play that audio for you right now.
Okay.
Alright, so yeah, that was a pretty ominous video. Mm-hmm. And I bet, like, you're probably wondering, like, what was our first impressions? What do we think of it? And I gotta tell you that, I mean, I was really, really intrigued by this. But first, some fan mail.
Oh my god!
Hello, this is Addison, a proud patron of the Creepy Peepers podcast, and I just want to say that I am so honored to have my photo of Ric Flair posted in one of your podcasts. I think it was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that you guys are continuing with the Creepy Peepers podcast. I really enjoy everything that you do, and I wanted to say how proud I am of both of you guys, and can't wait for this new episode.
Alrighty, that was fan mail. Thank you. Special thanks to Addison Ackerman for sending in that very heartwarming message.
Thank you. That made me cry. Literally.
Yeah, so let's get back to the review. Sorry, we didn't rehearse this before we came back, so I didn't know Dan was going to throw in his improv skills there. But
we never do.
Yeah.
Anywho, back to I Feel Fantastic. So, what is your first take in from that video?
I gotta be honest, and I watched this. Sure, it wasn't like at night, like in the dark or anything, but I was by myself when I watched this, and I was even listening to headphones too, so it wasn't just like I was listening out to the open. But I wasn't. I don't know. I just wasn't scared of this. For some reason, it kind of reminded me of like the old Fred videos.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of had that nice like nostalgic YouTube feel to it.
And like the camera quality is like the same, like camera quality like for the time, you know?
Yeah. So I honestly found it to be all right. I actually kind of thought the song was a little catchy, even though it's very repetitive.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't play the whole thing for you. I feel like if we would have seen this video, say, when it came out, we wouldn't be as creeped out. But I feel like the audience nowadays that sees this video now, because of its lower quality, they get creeped out much more looking at it. And henceforth, they, people who didn't do any research at all when trying to figure out what this video was about, decided to come up with a creepypasta of their own. They basically formed a theory that a serial killer built this robot and used the clothes of his victims to dress Tara. And if you look in the video, there's a shot, which we'll insert here for the video podcast. There's a shot of a random spot in like a backyard, like a forest. And people have pretty much chalked that up to being the burial spot. You know, this is where the bodies are. And saying that out loud now, it's kind of laughable to me. But when I first saw this video, and then, of course, I watched the top 10 creepiest videos, from Watch Mojo, and, of course, they had to throw in, this video is by a serial killer. Like, it did creep me out, because I did often watch these videos at, like, 2 a.m., back, like, even years ago. But that tidbit did creep me out. And another creepy thing about this video is that this original uploader, uploaded by Creepy Blog, put this quote, or well, not much of a quote. Okay, he put this this strange little tidbit in the description, and it says that
in ancient Greek mythology, Pygmalion was a highly accomplished Cypriot sculptor. Though skilled at imitating the human form and well acquainted with its subtleties, he became disgusted by it when he witnessed these propetides prostituting themselves. These women were punished by Venus for their lack of worship with a coarseness of skin and a crudeness of nature, and were then forced into prostitution. Seeing this, Pygmalion the sculptor was repelled and could no longer appreciate women. Seemingly alone, Pygmalion sought to create for himself a perfect, pure, unsullied companion. He used his particular skills to this end. He created a statue bride. What you are about to watch is a mysterious video. Its origin is attributed variously, and almost certainly supuriously, to various abstract artists or surrealists. The truth is that what we are seeing and what we perceive to be strange and disturbing is actually beauty to its creator. Perhaps what we are viewing is the work of a modern Pygmalion. To him, her toneless voice, the paleness of her skin, and the comparative vibrancy of her lips may indeed be the very embodiment of a perfect woman. Consider the mindscape of the creator. In whose mind does this appear beautiful? In whose mind is this pure, near worshipful? Are we missing out on his perspective? Who are we to be afraid or to judge them? He may well love her fully, perhaps more fully than any of us could ever hope to be loved. In the mind of her creator, she is a near goddess, the perfect representation, not just of femininity, but the peak of human potential. A perfectly satisfactory being. How does that kind of unconditional love feel? Well, how does she feel? Fantastic.
what a load of honky donkey. All right. Now I want you to know that that pretentious description has nothing to do with Tara, other than it was just a fun little way to tie in, you know, this person's post about it, because this wasn't originally posted by Creepy Blog. Tara the Android was created by a man named John Bergeron, who, and this is fact, by the way, this isn't, a creepypasta. All of those other things we talk about were creepypastas. John Bergeron created robots that could sing, and he had a whole website about it. You know, I don't know how his business is nowadays. I think getting a hold of him is kind of hard to do. But he's not a serial killer putting victims' clothes on the robot. He's not... Tara is not a killer robot. It's everything else is fake, other than the fact that John Bergeron created him, and that's that. You know, and he shot the videos in his own home, and he put them on his website, and that's where this video came from, is one of his music videos for Tara the Singing Android on his website that was re-uploaded by Creepy Blogs. And let's throw in a creepy Greek. No. All right. But that's all for Tara the Android.
Well, let me just ask you, Dane. How does talking about Tara the Android like that make you feel?
Not so fantastic. Because I'll tell you why. Can these people try a little harder? All right.
What do you mean?
Make this robot more interesting than, creepy, This is what's wrong with the internet sometimes. And I'll give the internet this. Tara the Android would not be as well renowned as she is nowadays if it weren't for the fact that she had come along with all of these creepy little campfire stories attached to her. But I mean, this was an entrepreneur, you know, trying to make singing robots, you know, and now all his creation is known for by the public is creepy robot wearing victims' clothes, and oh look, that shot in the backyard, that's where the bodies are. And yeah, that's all good and fun, it's creepy and whatnot, but I mean, give the guy a break, you know? Tara's fantastic, but that whole aspect of it is not so fantastic. But I'm gonna give this a skull rating of like 9? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna give it a 9 because on first viewing of it for me, it was creepy because of the creepy stories that were attached to the video. And I'm also going to give it a 9 because of its reputation. I mean, like I said before, you go onto the strangest side of YouTube playlist, and even on multiple playlists, I Feel Fantastic is going to be like one of the very first videos at the top of the list. So yeah, it's well renowned. It's a classic among strange YouTube videos. And what kind of skull rating would you give it?
I gotta be honest, I gotta give it like a 7 out of 10.
Oh yeah?
If I were to watch it like at really like late and that was like the only thing I was playing, yeah, I'll be honest, it'd be pretty scary. But again, I didn't really find it that scary, but I found it interesting enough that I can comfortably give it a 7 out of 10. That being said, though, what would you rate our first?
Ooh, that's right.
Our first?
I would rate
Trumpets
in the Sky. I would rate that a 7 or an 8. I'm going to go with an 8, and I'll tell you why. I was going to go with a 7 because when I think of Trumpets in the Sky, it's kind of soured because I think of the fact that these scientists come up with stupid reasons, and we don't know where it really comes from. And I'm fascinated with that. I want to know what's making this loud noise in the sky. On the other hand, that's sort of the reason why it gets a score on the higher end. It's because it's pretty creepy that there's very loud metal screeching, very trumpet sounding noises in the sky, and no one knows where it comes from. And we can point fingers at aliens, we can point fingers at God, we can point fingers all over the place. And, you know, it kind of sends a chill down your spine, you know? So that's why I think I'm going to give it like a comfortable 7. That's my final 7.
You got anything else you want to say about that? Jeez. Okay. I will give it a freaking 9 because I think it's kind of scary. There. That's my freaking...
Well, come on. It's a podcast. You know?
I know, but hey, I got the dog whining over here. All right. Anyway, no. I'll be honest. So I will give it a 9 because if I ever heard this...
Oh, I'm done.
Yeah, if I ever heard this, I would run to the nearest building. I would be inside. I'd be in the basement. I'd be gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give that one a 9. As for Jeff the Killer, all right, I gotta be honest, 10 out of 10 for me.
Really?
One of the classic and one of the most scariest creepypasta images, in my opinion, of all time. Second place to one that I will not name, but we will discuss it later. We'll discuss it later. But,
Mr.
Yeah.
Wow.
No spoilers for the podcast.
I won't say it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. What would you rate Jeff the Killer, though?
I gotta be very honest. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Dude! Are you serious?
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Tell you why. Because even when I first saw this image, it only scared me for a little bit. It doesn't hold any weight anymore to me. Like, when I see it, I don't get scared. Sure, if you, like, jump scared me with it, as, you know, a lot of videos on YouTube often do, yeah, you know, it'll get a jump out of me because it's a scary face. But in terms of, like, the image itself, it's not unsettling very much to me anymore. I'm more fascinated with the fact that we don't know where the image comes from. And I like the idea of turning the story around because the original creepypasta is crap. And I think that making Jeff the Killer more of a boogeyman, especially for this newer generation, this newer audience, it's a very good idea, and I like that fact. And if there is a Jeff the Killer movie, I don't want to see a movie about a little boy who's angsty. Oh, I'm going to beat up my boys. Oh, no, my brother's dead. Oh, no, they're going to bleach my face. I'm going to cut my eyelids off. I'm going to look like the Joker. Oh, go to sleep. That's cringe, all right? You know it. I know it. Mr. Just a Guy over there knows it. And the dog knows it. And I lost my train of thought. Hang on. Give me a second. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. I went to see a movie about Jeff the Killer. Seeing Jeff the Killer as an older man. Think about that. As an older guy. Jeff the Killer. Old. You know, his wounds are crinkly, wrinkled, you know. It's scarier. And that face with a deep voice, come on. Like, there's no way Jeff the Killer in the original story, hi guys, go to sleep. Like, no. Like, come on. Jeff the Killer, though, shut up! Jeff the Killer. Don't you growl at me while I'm talking about Jeff the Killer. All right, you know what? No, I'm giving it a 5. Because he just growled, and I thought Jeff the Killer was over there, all right? No, okay. Yeah, all right. Little jump scare for me. Yeah.
The dog blasted you.
Yeah, that's it for Jeff the Killer, though, yeah.
Freaking scared you out of your discussion.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that's all my point is, you know.
Yeah.
That just the image itself doesn't hold anything with me anymore.
That's fair.
It doesn't scare me as much. Like, when I see it, it's like, oh, there it is. But that's it. You know, it's like Jeff the Killer it's kind of like Slender Man. It's like those two names, they get mentioned so much. It's just like, oh, Jeff the Killer. Like, when I hear Jeff the Killer, I don't know. Like, I just see cringe, you know? That's about it.
Yeah. Every horror Roblox skin.
Exactly. Every horror Roblox skin. But, that's all for us.
Absolutely.
On this episode of Creepy Peepers. Thank you for your ascendance, and thank you for listening, and thank you for doing everything that you do. And
well, that's all from us, folks. We're the Creepy Peepers.
Yeah.
And dude.
Fantastic. So we'll just. Is that enough? Oh, are you recording now?
This has been a Just a Guy Network audio production.